So hey kids, how you doing? Hope you're having a good week. Come out here, have me a nice cold drink. Pop the bar down, the bar folds from the wall over there. It was one of my own inventions, save space kind of thing, you know. Getting ready to work on that MGA. Have a cool video coming up this Sunday at noon, so check it out. But I figured I'd sit here. There's something been eating at me. I've done the car fixing thing for 35 years. And there was one day when I was a beginner, when I started. Things have changed so much in all that time, but there's a few things that haven't. Actually, a lot of hasn't changed. During that time up until the middle 90s, early 2000s or so, a lot of kids in high school were told, you're not going to be a success without a college education. You're going to make this much money less without a college education. And a lot of them bought into it. You probably know a lot of people that have a college education that are still paying for it, but they don't use it for work, you know. And college is, man, there's a lot of my life I wished I'd have gone to college. I did for a short while. It didn't last. I was too young. I was too immature for it. You know, I did the college stuff, if you know what I mean. But I was an apprentice at one point, and I started at $5 an hour, $5.50 maybe per hour, moving cars. Graduated to changing oil pretty quick, and this and that. Got started with a guy. He's one of my favorite people. I always remember, you know, named Elmer Duke. There's some people who see this video is going to remember old Elmer Duke, and he was something. But he was real good to me, you know. I had this natural aptitude for mechanics anyway. I worked on models as a kid. I got all the Super Chevy magazines, all the Hot Rod magazines, and I read it cover to cover in order to figure out what a camshaft was. Why is there push rods? What's 4-cycle mean? Stuff like that, you know. The difference is nowadays, kids have grown up doing this, right? They got their cell phone out, playing games on it, watching YouTube, watching people play games. You know, they grew up doing that. They didn't grow up, helping their dad work on a car. A lot of them. I'm not saying everybody. That wasn't, you know, I think it was frowned upon by a lot of parents. You know, you need a college education. When they weren't able to get through it, they'd send them to Lincoln Tech. No, not putting Lincoln Tech down. But every kid we've ever hired, every kid I've ever hired, in the time that I spent in management, I didn't care where you came from. You started at the same place, in that lube rack, changing oil. You know, you can cause a lot of damage there, but it's simpler stuff. If you can handle putting tires on, brakes on the rare occasion, and changing oil, then we'll look at moving you up. And you're able to get on and take the online classes that you got to take now that I didn't have to back then. You know, and what made me think of this was I recently got an apprentice, and I'm not going to talk bad about him. There's nothing to say bad about him. You know, is he ignorant? Yeah, he's not stupid. He's not dumb. Difference between ignorance and dumb is you're unable to learn. Ignorance is you just don't know. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant. I'm ignorant to a lot of things. And prior to this, just about a month ago, there's a kid that started in the lube rack there where I work, and I work in a dealership, right? The aftermarket side of things, it could be different, might be the same. I don't know. I can only talk from my perspective. He caught me outside during a break, and I never really talked to him before, and he'd asked around and figured out who the big guy was in the shop, and I'm proud to be that guy. I'm the biggest, scariest guy in the shop, but everybody trusts me, respects me, And they understand when I lose my stuff once in a while. You know, there's reasons for that. We'll get to that in a minute. But he said he wanted my advice, and I said, sure, you know, whatever you want to ask, if I got an answer, I'll tell you. And it's usually the honest truth. He said, well, I've worked in this lube rack a little bit, and I want to be a technician. I decided that's what I want to do. I said, oh yeah? Okay, well, that's good. We don't have enough of that nowadays because of the aforementioned reasons. He said, well, I wanted to ask you how do I go about it? What do what do you think I should do? So I thought about it for a minute, and I said, you know, the first thing you need to do is take care of the job that you do have. You make a mistake, you own up to it. You do your very best to make up for it, and you be honest about how it happened. Learn from it. Mistakes. Everything I've learned from mistakes. Not because I watched it on YouTube, not because, you know, somebody told me how to do it. It's because I did it and I made mistakes. And that's how I learn. That's a hard way to learn, but you don't forget. Most people. And I said at the same time, you want to be the hardest working SOB that's in that lube rack. There's a couple other ones in there with you. And if all three of you sitting down, don't be the guy sitting down. Be the guy cleaning, picking up, asking if you can help. If they come in with one oil change ticket for a car and there's three of you, you be the first one up to grab it. Don't wait for them to ask. You go. The biggest thing is to build respect from the people you work with and build trust. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. Nobody's always right and nobody's an expert. But if I can trust that when you make a mistake, you're going to come tell me, I've got respect for you and I have trust. That's bigger than any kind of knowledge that you're ever going to have. Bigger way by, you know, and that's just from mankind. That's just in life in general. You know, and I told him, I said, you know, when you're not working, get on that computer, take your classes. Take your classes, you know. It takes a while to get through them. They're not hard. You get to the level one, a certain level, then you can start doing some warranty work like recalls and simple things, you know, and then there you are. You're in line to get your big butt in the back shop. And he was real thankful, and he said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, you know, and I don't have a lot of time to watch the kid, but the best I can tell, maybe he's doing that. I don't know. Sometimes all you can do is throw the information at them and you see if it sticks. It falls off like a piece, like a ball of dust, and it is what it is, you know. Maybe it takes 8 or 9 people. Maybe it takes falling on his face a couple times to realize that, you know, again, make mistakes. Screw yourself up, or screw yourself. you'll get somewhere, or you start thinking, start understanding. Now, this apprentice I have now, you know, I think he means well. He takes those classes really good. He's all about taking the classes, right? His problem is this right here. I don't know how he grew up, and I haven't asked, but I can about bet he didn't use these a whole lot when he was a kid. It's like a lot of kids nowadays, you know. Changing the tire, and you know, I used to beg my dad to let me change the oil on the cars. I'd beg him. When I was 11, 10, 12 years old, I begged him. And he was smart to, no, maybe, probably not. And finally, I remember him going, yeah, you want to do it bad enough, you go. I'll stop and get the stuff at the store. Here I figured he'd come out and say, I'll do this, do that. Nope. Didn't get off the couch. I might have a question, and he'd do his best to answer, but he wouldn't get off the couch. And I'd get the job done. Did I make mistakes then? Oh yeah. Quite a few big mistakes that he never found out about. He's long past, so hopefully nobody will tell him. But my mom watches, and you know, hey, we got through it, Mom. It's fine. You know, I was a big ball of mistake when I was a kid. Trust me. You know, and this kid doesn't. He doesn't know how to work efficiently. He just kind of darts around and doesn't. He looks busy, but it's not doing anything. You know, and like I told him, I said, buddy, I'm not here to be a nice guy. I'm not here to be nice to you. you're in my stall, because the original setup was I was going to make some money for him doing some work, hand off, trade off, teach a kid some stuff, get his head on straight, because he was this close to being out the door anyway. It wasn't working out for him. Well, that didn't turn out to be the case, and I felt a little, can't think of the word, I didn't feel good about it. I felt a little lied to be honest. Things happen, people make mistakes, management does, it is what it is. But I decided the kid deserves a chance. And so I told him, and I was, I'm the grumpy guy in the shop. It's a high volume shop. There's a whole lot of pressure. There's really no fun about it, honestly. And I told him such. I said, man, every day's a fight in this business. And it didn't used to be that way all the time. Nowadays it is. Every day's a fight. Every week's a fight. Every year is a fight. It's always a fight. And so if you see me grumpy and short, I don't have time for the silliness. I'm here to make money for my family, to live the way I want to live, to work my butt off. And I'll fight for every dollar I make, And I said, you're in one of my stalls. I decided I'm not taking your money. You're not working and then I take your hours. I'm not doing it. You're going to make money out of that stall or you're out of here. And I laid it to him today. I said, you could have been in that other stall. And nobody really cared, except for management. They cared. They cared that you weren't making any hours. Same thing. You either got frustrated by not making any money and left, that was happening, or they got tired of giving up the stall space for you to not make them any money and do nothing but causing problems. I'm just the one being honest with you. I'm the one checking you, keeping you in check, telling you what you're doing wrong. I'm trying to give you a chance. Well, I think he hears me. Time will tell. But things just aren't what they used to be, but some things are the same. The work ethic, be on time, act like you care, look at your paycheck. Because in the repair industry, any kind of skilled trades, your paycheck is your paycheck. You make your paycheck. Nobody's giving you anything. And I think a lot of youngins kind of grow up and believe that, I'm learning they should take care of me. That used to be the case. It's not anymore. These corporations get these dealerships and they're about making money. They're not looking towards the future too much, Us old guys like me, and there's a few others in that shop. And Lord, I hope in the next couple years I'm out of there. But there ain't nobody replace me. Nobody. These couple of kids that think they want to do it for a living. Man, I don't want to discourage anybody. If you want to be a technician, man, I'm all about you being a technician. But it starts with keeping your head on straight and understanding where you're at on it. It's up to you. To you. If you don't have your head on straight and you can't cope with the stress, the work, and the will to make it work for you, you're not going to survive. And I'd be interested for you boys and girls that are in this industry. Tell me what you think about that, Everybody's got their own story. Yeah, I've known Roger Daniel, met him years ago. He started working with us, straight out of Lincoln Tech. They put him right on the line and said, boy, let's see what you can do. You know what he did? He did it. He did it. But by all rights, that kid grew up using his hands, working on stuff, Building, I think he was building derby cars and all that when he was in high school. Kid like that don't need Lincoln Tech. because he's going to go in a dealership and probably start doing the same thing anyway, you know. And he'll agree with you. He agreed with me when I saw him about a year ago. Ran into him at school. I hadn't seen him in 20 years. He walked right up to me. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Man, it was good to see that kid. He's gray-haired now, and a very accomplished technician. Very smart, very bright. And there's kids out there in this world, I believe, that they are exactly that way. But you got to give yourself a chance to be that way. You know? Find out if that's something you want to do. Go watch your friends work on cars. See if you can help. You work on your own car, and that's usually how it starts. They don't have a choice but try to work on their own car, and they're like, well, that's a start. If you enjoy doing that, that's probably something you could look into doing, because I lost the enjoyment out of my job a long time ago. And that's just being honest. That's from feeding corporations and trying to make a living and fighting every day for my living. That MGA back there behind you, I enjoy that. People ask how can I work on cars all day long, and I hate it. Sweaty, dirty, and you just want to go home and drink after that. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I just come and work on an old car because that's what I enjoy. I enjoy working on cars. I love working on cars. I love it, love it, love it. It's done so much for me. I wish more people could get to that point. More old mechanics like me that won't work on nothing, because after they're done going through that drudgery and that crap every day, why would they want to touch another car? Well, it's because they lost the enjoyment out of it. They may have never enjoyed it to start with. They just hadn't been good at it, so that's what they did. You got to enjoy what you do. Tools? Come on, kids. That Snap-on guy, that Matco guy, he sees you coming. Don't spend a dime on there. Here's what you do. Go buy you a bunch of tools. Go to Harbor Freight. Go to Lowe's. Get on the Amazon website. Order you a bunch of tools. Buy them all, right? Whatever you use that breaks the most, an air ratchets, impacts, stuff like that breaks, wrenches that slip, they get wore out really fast, go on that truck and buy it. It's okay. Save your money up and pay cash for it. Don't get in that trap where you have this revolving account. It's only $57 a week. Right. Till you need another screwdriver. Till you need another wrench. I lost that socket I just bought. I need to replace it. Now you're at $100 a week. And in this business, it's always been this lie to these kids that get into Lincoln Tech and all that. Start your first year, $60,000. I remember the commercials on TV. I don't think they're out there anymore, but they might be. It was a lie. Absolute blatant lie. Are there kids in their first year going to make that kind of money? The real special ones, the real smart ones, the ones that were doing it when they were a kid, you know, maybe they can. But at $60,000 a year, can you afford $100 a week pay on that truck for them tools you don't own? No, you can't. Not when you're thinking about getting married, buying a house, having a kid, or you have a kid, you just didn't think about it, and then you just had a kid. Now you're in trouble. Now you're in money trouble, and you're not happy where you're working. You're not happy with the money you're making because you're not making enough when it was your choice to start with. Old Uncle Mike's just trying to be honest with you. This industry needs kids coming up in it badly, so bad. I see stuff coming around the pike that I'm gonna have to fix. That I'm like, man, not me. But here I am. You know, that's about all I got to say. Hope you guys enjoyed a little talk. I hope at least one of you watching got something out of it. The light bulb pops off, change your life a little bit. That's why I do these videos. It may not seem like it, but that's why I do. We'll see you guys Sunday. Junk out.